Alright. Hope I can get this thing to focus. Focus. Man, this thing sucks. Alright, just wanted to do a quick video. Not sure if this is going to end up anywhere, but you'll find out if it ends up on YouTube. This is a 2005 Nissan Altima 3.5 liter SE automatic. What I'm doing, or have been doing, for today and yesterday is changing out the catalytic converters and the Y-pipe. And just as sort of a brief overview, I probably should have done a step-by-step, maybe when I was taking it apart. But if anybody's ever interested in actually doing this themselves, it can be kind of expensive to have it done. I got quoted almost $250 in labor, which isn't, I mean, that much. I'm just super poor. $250 in labor, and they didn't know what else would add on to that. So, to access the rear catalytic converter, believe it or not, it's way down there. There's two bolts that face up from the bottom of the cat. Here, actually, let me grab it for you so I can give you an example. So, catalytic converter sits in the car like this. Down there, very far down. These two bolts right here are easily accessible from the bottom of the car once the Y-pipe's off. These two nuts, well, these two studs, which have two nuts, are the real problematic ones. So what you have to do is you have to take off the upper intake manifold. Right there, there's a lower IM, injectors, and cylinders. So you have to do is you have to pull off the upper intake manifold, and there's a ton of other stuff holding it on in the back. There's this bracket here, vacuum lines. This is clipped onto the back of it. There's two studs in there. It's a huge pain in the ass. But once you have it off, you can get to work on the heat shield, which is what you see poking out there. There's O2, heat shield, and then there's actually one of the holes where one of the studs came through. You have to get the bolts off of that heat shield to get it out of the way enough to get to those nuts that are on the top of that catalytic converter. And there's 3 bolts on this heat shield. There's one in the center and one on either side. So once you don't have to take it off. You just have to loosen it up so you can get it out of the way and get to those top nuts. It's a gigantic pain in the ass. There's no other way of saying it, but if you have somebody who's willing to help and give you ideas more than anything, makes a huge difference. Here's the front one. The heat shield is exactly the same on this. It doesn't really come off, so I just sort of toss it aside. On the front, those two are where the studs come through for the front cat, and the rest are just bolts that are really easy to get to from the bottom. Let me see if I can find the front catalytic converter for you. There it is. So, front cat, those two studs I was talking about that come through the front, and the rest are bolts that are accessible from the bottom. Weighs 1,000 sons. And the Y-pipe was another really tough one to get out. These front bolts with a breaker bar came off all right. These bolts here and those. The problematic ones were these two studs in the back. I just borrowed a regular old grinding wheel, just ground off the nuts that were on the other side of these studs. And the second those are off, you can just pull it back and forth and it'll come right out. And so here is the replacement Y-pipe from RacingLine. They just got these back in stock. I ordered this 5 months ago and they had to find a new pipe bender, so I just got it. And so there's that. And the old Y-pipe, as you can see, still has no 2 sensor in it. I did everything I could to hit it with that blowtorch, and it just wasn't going anywhere. It actually rounded it off completely. I was lucky enough to get the other downstream O2 out of that cat with blowtorch. One thing I definitely suggest is don't go and buy the OEM one. The OEM one is $160. There is a Bosch equivalent that is do-it-yourself, but it's extremely easy. All the wires match right up for color. The two whites are just heater lines, so it doesn't matter which one they end up on. Gray is signal, and I believe black is ground. I might be mixing those up, but anyway, it comes with instruction sets. I mean, I just cut off the little plug, wired it in. $60 instead of $160, and they don't. Most places don't actually stock that Nissan one, so it can be kind of tough to find. And here is the upper intake manifold. It's got the NWP. I have the 5-piece spacer kit, but here is one part of the spacer, throttle body. And for the replacement cats, we have the same RacingLine brand. It's a high flow. Let's see if I can get some light behind this to give you perspective. Maybe. Might just be wasting my time. Perhaps you can see through that. Just for the passage sizes are huge. And then here is the OEM, which it's not really going to be good. So we've got that, the front replacement, and the rear replacement cat. Right here with O2 bung and stupid flow. It came rusty, not a big deal. Oh, one other thing to note. That rear cat, which is this one right here, has this really, really boss gasket. Like, that's solid copper. Super cool. And now, doesn't quite fit on the new one. So that's kind of sad. But they recommend just using any sort of gasket maker, like this stuff. Ultra copper, sealant, whatever the hell. Awesome. Does a great job. Let's give you a few more shots. That, remember, there's a heat shield. Same bolt sequence. You have here, here, and here. Obviously, front I am all gone. Cover the trash bag. And get some good under the shot. Under the car shots. Before my phone dies. So we've got, that's the bottom of the front collector. See there. We've got the wiring for, that goes to the Y pipe, and this one goes to the rear catalytic converter. For the back, we've got rear cat attachment. It's honestly a huge pain in the ass to get to, those studs and bolts back there. But I was lucky enough, none of them were seized very bad. I would absolutely recommend a breaker bar, anything that you can use to get some more leverage. And then there's the rest of the exhaust. I'll show you what I mean about breaker bars. It's this thing right here. It's a half and extendable. You can do tiny, or it'll extend out to about 2.5 feet, which really, that's the only way I was able to get the bolts off of here. So hopefully, once this is all back together, between intake, spacer kit, tune, full exhaust, I mean, maybe mid-2s at the wheels. That's, you know, aiming really high. Might as well think optimistically. I don't have the money to get it dyno tuned, so I'll never know. But I'd like to think it'd be fast. Living in Colorado at about 7,000 feet kills quite a lot of the potential, though. Let's get some more shots of these replacement pipes. As you can see with this RacingLine one, the difference is really significant. You've got full pipe all the way back. I'll show you the OEM right here. These honestly are not that bad. They're a solid pipe that goes through here. I mean, you sort of get the header effect on it. It's fairly collected and keeps a smooth path until about back here where it so they both come around, goes into this completely flat piece, and then gets pinched again through there. Huge pinch. which is, it's mostly done to just keep it quiet. And it goes up to here, and then we have another cat, which is unmonitored. There's no O2 sensors back there, luckily, because they already have 4. And so eliminating that cat and opening that up should be a pretty big difference. If you have any questions, just comment below, let me know.